All right, hi everyone. My name is Caitlin. I am a small business owner, and then also I was thinking that I will be your Ascension guide. But yesterday was actually a pretty strange day, if you ask me, to be honest with you. But I think it's just more of me conspiring with the universe, basically. Like the universe is starting to reflect back to me the work that I've been doing on myself. But at the same time, I'm ascending. I mean, I guess they're really one and the same, but due to what I was experiencing yesterday, that led me to do a little bit of research on Ascension Symptoms. And I basically realized that over the last few weeks, my Ascension symptoms have kind of heightened. But then I also did a reading. In my collective reading, Ascension Symptoms came up, but I don't know, everything just kind of came together, and I noticed that some of the ways in which I've been feeling like out of sorts, they started to make sense again. And it's funny too, because like my first vision board is back there. And in my last video, I talked about 2019, and 2019 is when I made that vision board, which is pretty much what led me here. But anyways, like I was saying, yesterday inspired me to research Ascension Symptoms. And then I also thought I know that I'm supposed to share my journey and my experiences, so I should likely talk about the Ascension symptoms that I've been experiencing. And everything, of course, is not going to be on this list, and I'm looking down because I just wrote things down so I remember. Everything's not going to be on this list. You could be experiencing things that are not on this list, but I always like to tell people, Google is your best friend. I mean, you can't believe, honestly, everything that you read, but Google is definitely, or doing your own research is definitely a good resource. And then also there are some symptoms on here, but I don't know how to phrase it. It's just like, you want to make sure that if anything gets concerning, you want to make sure that you also get checked out by your doctor. That's just what I wanted to say. Like, don't think that everything's happening to you always has to be an Ascension symptom. Sometimes it might actually be a health condition. I just wanted to say that also. But so like the first thing would be angel numbers or synchronicities. I mean, angel numbers is nothing new to me. And if you don't know what an angel number is, it's like 111, 222, numbers like that. And I was thinking that also at some point I will likely do videos going into each number if you guys want. So yeah, you could be seeing angel numbers. They're just really trying to alert you, trying to guide you on your path. And then also you could be seeing synchronicities, or they're called synchronicities, or things that might seem like random coincidences, but nothing is coincidence, supposedly. So like, for example, you might have a thought and then one of your friends says the same exact thing, which that actually happened yesterday, to be honest with you. That's one of the many things that actually happened yesterday. Oh, and then actually, I guess one that I can share actually would be, I've been getting pedicures, and yesterday I went to get a pedicure, and typically I get the same like one or two colors, but they didn't have white on the shelf, and I know that they had it somewhere. It probably just wasn't on the shelf, but that just led me to think, okay, maybe let me just try a different color. And I chose that different color. It was a blue, basically, and the girl that ended up sitting next to me, she ended up getting the same color, and I was just like, wow, that's kind of crazy. But ultimately I just feel like it's the universe reflecting back to me, just reflecting back to me in general. I'll just say that. But yeah, angel numbers, synchronicities, things that you've been thinking, feeling are, starting to show up in your external world. But that's a good sign, I feel like, because that means you're on the right track, or you're doing something right, I feel like. But then you also got to be mindful, if you're trying to upgrade, you level up your life, you want to be positive. You don't want to like be negative or be down on yourself, because I mean, I feel like that's the direction we're trying to go. We're trying to go up, and you don't want to be replaying negative thoughts or anything like that, because then that's going to be reflected back towards you. So you want to be mindful about that. All right. So next would be anxiety, and I really don't know or have much to say about that. I don't feel like it's always anxiety. I feel like a lot of times, for me personally, it's really just, again, maybe picking up on changes that haven't happened yet, but then also me tapping into the collective energy, because I do feel like I am a divine channel and I can pick up on that from time to time. And typically when that happens, it's best to ground yourself. Some people might, again, it might actually be a disorder or something like that. But I know for me personally, it's just like an Ascension symptom. So, okay. Next would be like an increase or decrease in appetite. I've definitely been experiencing that. It actually kind of started back a couple months ago or something like that. I ended up getting sick, and I feel like ever since then I really haven't been eating a lot, to be honest with you. My tastes have kind of changed even further. I mean, they've been changing. So I would say that I've been conscious of my ascension for about 5 years now, and my tastes have gradually changed, but I feel like they're kind of getting even more refined as to where like I'm eating less and less meat, or at least being conscious of it. I want to eat more like fruits and vegetables. I've been drinking basically like flavored water. I'm not sure if that's totally good, but it's definitely different than what I've used to. Like I used to drink like a lot of juice, but I don't know if it's since I got sick, but I just cut back on juice. And like I said, I just been drinking a lot of flavored water. So yeah, an increase or decrease in appetite. And so I haven't really been eating a lot. I've been getting full fast. But then also recently I've just been feeling like recently I've been a little bit more hungry, and mentally I'm just like, I need to get more protein. So I'm going to start researching into that, because you know, the more protein you eat, it's going to basically decrease your hunger. So want to work on that. And again, definitely that's something to get checked out if you are concerned. But again, I know for me it's just an ascension symptom. So also, I don't know if it's TMI, but sometimes like the amount or the frequency of my bathroom visits increase. I feel like on a very high frequency day, I tend to go to the bathroom a lot, but I just feel like, again, it's like my body doing something. It's my body, I don't know if it's giving off high frequency, but I know that it's just something with my body, like maybe picking up on high frequency and maybe detoxing, so to speak. But you know, if you guys have any comments or suggestions about anything, of course, please feel free to share that. And the reason I say that is because it's happened from time to time. Like it'll happen maybe for like one day, and then it won't happen again for like a few months or so. So, and I guess that's really the biggest reason why I say it's just like my body in a sense cleansing and like purging itself. So next would be electrical disturbances. And again, a lot of this happened, or several of these instances, I had several electrical disturbances yesterday. And I really didn't think much of it until it happened for like the third time, when I ended up going to Chick-fil-A at night. And that's something too, I am increasingly, how do I say it? As time goes on, I'm no longer satisfied or interested in eating fast food, because it really just doesn't do much for me. And then honestly, it's like you either have to ask for it to be made fresh, or you just end up being hungry like not too long later. It's just, to me, it doesn't serve me anymore. Or if I am gonna eat something like fast food, it'll be something that I want to go somewhere where, you know, they make it to order, because then, you know, it's fresh. But yeah, lately my experiences with fast food just really haven't been the best. But then again, we really shouldn't be eating it anyways. But yeah, I really didn't think too much about the electrical disturbances until I had the third incident, basically. So the first incident, and really these are happening just because, like, well, I read it could be attached to psychic abilities, but then again, I feel like it's a frequency thing. So the first thing would be, I was using the microwave yesterday, and it just was acting weird. Like I don't feel like it was working at its highest level. It was still working, but the way it was working was weird. So that was the first thing, and I just thought that was strange, but again, didn't think much of it. And then the second thing is, I ended up going to my closet, and one of the light bulbs went out, and I was like, wait a minute, did that just happen or what? And then later on in the day, I went back to check, and the light bulb was fine. Okay, and then like I was saying, I didn't think much of either of these situations until I then went to Chick-fil-A, and the guy's card reader just stopped working. And part of me is just like, well, is that a coincidence? But again, it happened 2 other times yesterday. So I'm just like, okay, definitely something's going on with my energy, or just in the energy in general. So again, you could be, I don't want to say that you're interfering with electronics, but again, there could be electrical disturbances. And then also, like, the internet started acting weird too on my phone. I'm not sure if it was like a whole household thing, but okay. Next would be just increasingly sensitivity, or an increase, or just becoming more sensitive is what I'll say. I already know that I'm a highly sensitive person. I've been doing a lot of research into like my placements And again, just at this point in my life, everything, like just looking back on my life, everything just kind of makes sense. But I feel like as time has gone on, I've just become increasingly more sensitive to like sounds, smells, sights. Right now it's more so sounds. Like at night somebody can have the TV on really low but it's still too loud for me, things like that. So you could be noticing things like that again, and like a more like a, or you could be feeling or could be a little bit more sensitive to smells, tastes, sounds, lights, things like that. It's frustrating to my kids, but like I can't if there's too much going on, I get uncomfortable. Again, if things are too loud, I get uncomfortable. And lately, because if you don't know, I'm a tarot reader, it's just like I have to be in total silence, I feel like, in order to like channel and in order to read. And it's just, I mean, I accept it for what it is and it makes sense. It's just, like I said, I've just become increasingly more sensitive as time goes on to like things around me, energy, and yeah. So you could also be moody, you know, mood changes. You could be sleeping more, or sometimes you could be sleeping less, depending on if there's like a lot of frequency or a lot of energy going on in your body. Kind of going back to the anxiety, I don't know if I think I did touch on it. Sometimes it's not really anxiety, it's just like a lot of energy is like built up in your body, I feel like, especially for me back when I had my awakening. I mean, I feel like we're always awakening, but when I really had that shift, I guess, into the next level of consciousness maybe, one of the first things I experienced was like my body just kind of felt like it was shaking. I just felt super anxious, and I wasn't journaling at that point in time, so I don't remember how long it lasted, but it lasted like more than a few days, maybe even a week, maybe even more than that. But yeah, I just, with all the research I've done now, I just feel like it was just a lot of energy being built up in my body. So yeah, you could be sleeping more or sleeping less at times, and it's just your body adjusting to the changes that you're going through, basically. And then with that, I also want to mention sleeping more. I lost the topic actually. Oh, headaches. Like I used to get headaches a lot, and I thought that they would keep going, but I guess once I really just kind of adjusted, maybe they have really decreased. And typically I feel like when I'm getting a headache, it's usually some sort of energetic shift going on or something like that. And it's funny because I used to get headaches as a kid and they gave me medicine for it. I don't know if it really helped, or maybe it did, but I used to get headaches as a kid, and then eventually they went away. But then when I started, I guess, my awakening, or when I shifted to the next level, you know, consciously, they came back. But I would say that they decreased in frequency, probably going back 2 or 3 years ago. But yeah, I mean, for some people it might be pretty consistent, but for me it's like, again, I had them when I was a kid, but they say when you're a kid, that's when you're the most sensitive. And then, you know, I guess when you get really programmed, or there's kind of like a disconnect between you and like your abilities and whatnot. So I think that connection is funny. What was I lost my train of thought. So yeah, I had them when I was a kid, they went away, and then they came back when I had my awakening. But then for some people, maybe it's more of a consistent thing. But again, you know, if it's really bothering you in your day-to-day life, if anything can be done about it, maybe, you know, go to your doctor. But yeah. And then next will be like an increase in dreaming, and I think specifically like lucid dreaming, which has definitely been happening for me lately. And again, I didn't really think much of it until I went through and started researching the Ascension Symptoms again. And then there was a particular dream that I had been having, a recurring dream that I've been having for like the last couple months or so, and I'll eventually do a video on that. And then also, just to touch on lucid dreaming, I guess it's supposedly where you're having a dream, but then you realize you're dreaming in the dream, if that makes sense. And so next would be dizziness. That would be the most concerning for me, honestly. There'd just be times in the last couple of weeks where I'll be sitting or laying down in the bed and I just feel super, you know, dizzy, like seemingly for no reason. But I just think that that's just more of what I was saying as far as, you know, my ascension, obviously. And then just me maybe tapping into higher levels of energy, things like that. So yeah, dizziness. There was a day last week that I was just feeling a lot of pressure in my head. Next would be like your relationships can change. Like you'll start meeting new people, old people that are not really in alignment with you. They'll start falling away. That could also include jobs. You might decide to quit your job, change jobs, something like that. Overall, you could also just start feeling uncomfortable, could start feeling out of place. I'm definitely feeling that again. Like a lot of the things that I'm touching on now, I was experiencing back in 2019. And it's funny because that's really what spurred my last video for me to talk about, like, I guess a cycle is repeating, or I'm getting ready to go to another level, because again, a lot of these things have been happening right before I don't know, right before I just kind of changed, or my life changed in a sense. So yeah, that can be one. And I guess that's pretty much it for this. I'm sure we'll revisit these several times, but then I also wanted to say that anything that came up here, your children can also be experiencing, because your children, if you're gifted or if you're ascending, why can't your children also? And then also my 7-year-old and my 11-year-old, they've mentioned some things to me, and I'm just glad to be in this position now to where I can, you know, just try to comfort them through their experience. So I just want to say that too. Your children can be experiencing these things as well, and just do your best to help them through their experience. Because I've been told several times that all 3 of my kids have gifts. And so yeah, instead of, I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable, but I just told them, you know, like, your gifts are coming online, your powers are coming online, and you know, you're special, and there's things that you can do to help you out. And so I've just been guiding them that way pretty much. But so those are all the symptoms that I wrote down so far. Like I said, we will probably revisit these in the future, or maybe go more in depth into some of these. But yeah, I hope this was helpful. I hope some of you, what would be the word? I hope some of you know that you're not alone. Like, I hope this makes you feel less alone if you're experiencing any of these, you know, again, or for the first time. I definitely know what you're going through. And that's why I'm being called to, you know, put myself out that more and share my experience. But yeah, I appreciate you guys so much for watching this video, especially if you made it to the end. If you have any questions, or again, if you have any comments, please feel free to leave those. And then I will see you guys in my next one.